Did anything change? The order changed?
No, the order didn't change.
All right.
We're not going to
You just laid it out.
We're not going to do the normal thing after the meditation. She's going to do the last verse
Yes.
of America
Yeah,
instead.
she was saying that, yeah. Whatever that
so
is.
that I can get this thing straight, do you want to help me sort of put all the music in order?
So the Pretender,
Pretenders first.
then Come Sing a Song with Me.
Hold on. This is the critical thing. All right, Sister Law is supposed to be here.
Nice.
So, Pretender, come sing. I'm going to put the whole sermon. Here's a whole order of service, although it's been modified. Oh, I know.
It's hard to, but you're gonna need your chords.
Yep. Yeah, they'll be here. And then we'll finish with the.
But I bet you'll need the back side of that first.
Yeah, that's probably right. That's what she's going to do first. Yeah. Okay, that's how I got it laid out anyway.
And then If Every Woman,
That's back here.
it's at the chalice extinguishing.
Preacher and the slave.
Preacher and the slave. Yep. So says the order of service.
And where's the second part of Preacher and the Slave? Because that's a two-pager.
Are you missing the
One page.
last page?
Yeah, I know. I got 2 pages too, but I don't. Right? There seem to be 2 pages here. That's the third page. Yeah. So what did I do? Maybe it's stuck to the back of the end of this. Yeah. That would be fun. All right. I think I got the music.
Oh, okay, we have a question. I felt like the preacher and the slave started slowing down. If I just keep pushing along at the tempo, I think
Well, I
it is.
felt it was too fast. I started it too fast, and so I intentionally pulled it back
Oh.
because I want them to understand the words.
Don't be reading them to them.
Yeah, I know, but they'll be more comfortable singing it if it isn't.
It's more fun.
Well, you could be right. I don't know. Oh, you know what? I need my water bottle. I'm going to be right back. And then I have to do the guitar.
Sure, it's going to be water.
You know what? I just realized there's a line in there about how the preacher rings the bell. You know, the jump down Panthers fender. That piece. I think it's in the first verse of Pretender. There's a bell out here we could ring. Seriously.
Church bells ring.
Yeah, church bells ring.
You go grab it.
Yeah, it's right on the stand, right by that front door.
It's hard to do one.
Well, you just have fun with it.
It's gonna have to be back here.
Yeah, she's trying to get your attention. We just realized that the prelude that we're planning to do actually has a line in it about the church bells ring. So we grabbed the church bell. Why not? Creative chaos. Yay! All right, this is one of my favorites, and Jackson Browne. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna rent myself a house in the shade of the freeway. Gonna get up in the morning and go to work each day. And when the evening rolls around, I'll go on home and lay my body down. When the morning light comes streaming in, I'll get up and do it again. Amen. Say it again. I wanna know what became of the changes we waited for love to bring. Were they only the fitful dreams of some greater awakening? I've been aware of the time going by. They say in the end, it's the wink of an eye. And when the morning light comes streaming in, I'll get up and do it again. Amen. Caught between the longing for love and the struggle for the legal tender, where the sirens sing and the church bells ring and the church band pounds his fender, where the veterans dream of the fight, fast asleep at the traffic lights, and the children solemnly wait for the ice cream vendor. Out into the cool of the evening strolls the pretender, who knows it all his hopes and dreams begin and end there. Find myself a girl who can show me what laughter means, and we'll fill in the missing colors in each other's paint by number dreams. And then we'll put our dark glasses on and we'll make love until our strength is gone. And when the morning light comes streaming in, get up and do it again. Amen. Say, get it up again. Amen. I want to be a happy idiot and struggle for the legal tender, where the Aztec came and made their claim to the heart and the soul of the spender. Those things that money can buy, but true love could have been a contender. Are you there? Say a prayer for the pretender who started out so young and strong. strong, only to surrender. Say a prayer for the pretender, all the laughter of the lovers. Are you there for the pretender, leaving nothing for the others? Are you there for the pretender? Say a prayer for the pretender.
Good morning and welcome to Live Oak. Please rise in body or spirit for our gathering hymn, number 346. Come sing a song with me.
Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you home when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come walk in rain with me. Come walk in rain with me. Come walk in rain with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you home when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you home when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time.
Good morning and welcome, beloved community. Good morning. Thank you for that. In this sacred space, we gather as one, celebrating the tapestry of our diversity, honoring the boundless love that unites us all. My name is Michael Enyar, and I want to give a special welcome to any visitors we have today in person or online. If you haven't already, I encourage you to stop by our visitors table in the narthex after the service and to sign up for our weekly email newsletter, and so we can meet you and answer any questions you may have. And for those of you who are fairly new to Live Oak, next Sunday, July 14th, you have the opportunity to learn even more about Live Oak at our Exploring Membership class, which is hosted by Reverend Joanna and the membership team. The Exploring Membership workshop will begin at 11:15 in the library, which is down the hall, after the service. Today, we are pleased to welcome to our pulpit our friend and member, Betty Johnson. Betty is a longtime UU, having served as president of the Thoreau congregation in Fort Bend and on the board at First UU Houston. She recently moved to this area after retiring from a 45-year career as an earth scientist. Unitarian Universalism is a non-creedal faith. There are no doctrines you have to agree with in order to belong. Instead, we are held together by covenant, our promises to each other in this church and within our religious tradition. Please join me in these words from our historic faith. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. We unite with UU churches around the world by lighting our flaming chalice, the symbol of our religion. Today, Katharine Enyart will be lighting our chalice. Here and at home, we light it today with these words. We light this chalice for the web of life which sustains us, for the sacred circle of life in which we have our being, for the earth, the sky above and below, and for our Mother Earth, and for the mystery.
Well, one of the cool things about getting to do this with you guys is that the ministers often ask for music that I'm not familiar with. And it's great to be able to learn this stuff. They always pick good things, and this is one of them. Oh, thank you. Let's have both pages. Why not? I remember when the days were long and rolled beneath a deep blue sky. Didn't have a care in the world, with Mommy and Daddy standing by. But happily ever after fails, and we've been poisoned by these fairy tales. The lawyers will dwell on the small details, since Daddy chose to fly. But I want a place where we can go that's still untouched by man. We can sit and watch the clouds go by and the small grass waves in the wind. You can lay your head back on the ground, let your head fall all around, offer up your best defense. But this is the end. This is the end of the innocence. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, but now those skies are threatening. They're beating plowshares into swords for this felon who wants to be king. Armchair warriors often fail, and we've been poisoned by these fairy tales. The lawyers will clean up all the details, since Daddy chose to lie. Yeah, and I want a place where we can go that's still untouched by man. You can sit and watch the
This is a reading, The Allure of Hymns by Carl Daw Jr. One of the most enduring forms of group singing, no matter what one's spiritual belief, is the hymn. The allure of hymns is one of those left brain, right brain equations where the logic of the text and the art of the music produce moments of cohesion and revelation. In a very real sense, hymns put words in people's mouths, and people are grateful for the opportunity to have their beliefs so codified and clarified. They are so memorable that people return to them in times of crises or doubt as a source of stability and meaning. Singing them becomes an almost sacramental experience, a moment of transcendence and timeless, and a source of comfort and strength. Thus ends our reading. For the past 31 years, Live Oak has been a beacon of acceptance, love, and inclusivity in an area where our values often challenge the status quo. In a world where divisiveness and intolerance seem to grow stronger, we firmly believe in the transformative power of our faith and the positive impact we are having in our area. We invite you to make a financial contribution to help sustain this church's vital work, knowing that every gift, large and small, is appreciated and carefully used in service to our mission. If you would like to donate electronically, there is a card with a QR code in the seat back pockets. Every week we share what is given with an organization whose works reflects our own UU values. This month we are giving to the UU Fellowship of San Miguel de Allende. John Durbin will tell us more.
I use these notes to keep me on track, so I'm keep it short. As Mike pointed out, this month's Share the Plate is a little different. Normally we contribute to local organizations where members are actively participating, volunteering. This one's a little bit further afield, and yet there are connections. This Share the Plate is really going through the regional the Southern Region Child Slider Program. And this is for San Miguel de Allende is a congregation that is mainly comprised of expatriates, but they really want to be more diverse, and so they are hiring a bilingual minister, and this will help them get started. And it's kind of exciting to be part of that. I want to give you a little history, why I'm standing up here. San Miguel is a congregation of approximately 200 members, so a little bit bigger than us. And they were part of the Southwest District. 3 or 4 districts became the Southern Region. And when they were part of the Southwest District, which included almost all of Texas, except for El Paso, Louisiana, Arkansas, 2 congregations, Tennessee, 1 in Missouri, and Oklahoma, and a whole country of Mexico. I started out active in the district as a child slider coordinator, so I'm tied to that child slider program, and then eventually became president of the district. And I pushed to have the country separated. It doesn't make sense for Southwest District to be doing something just south of San Diego, for example, if there's a congregation. But anyway, I think I really feel that this is an important contribution that we will be making to try to make them more inclusive, which is something that we really strongly believe in. So I hope that you support San Miguel in their efforts to get a bilingual minister. Thank you.
Let this time of offering be a reflection of our shared commitment to making a positive impact on the world, and a reminder that our Unitarian Universalist values guide us not only in our beliefs, but also in our actions. Thank you for your presence and your contributions to our ongoing journey of building the beloved community here and in our wider parish.
We'll build a land where we bind up the broken. We'll build a land where the captives go free, where the oil of gladness dissolves all mourning. Oh, we'll build a promised land that can be. Come, build a land where all of the people, anointed by love, may then create peace, where justice shall roll down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream.
Good morning. I am Chris Jarman, your Director of Faith Development. Yay! I would like to invite all the kids to come down to the front if they're comfortable, willing, and able, and they can bring their grown-ups, and if you're young at heart, come join us. Yeah, come on down. Hey, mister, how are you? Cool, come on down. Here comes our friends. You can just have a seat wherever you want. There you go. Morning, Josie. Hi, Emerson. Hello. We got grown-ups, we got young at heart, we got kids. Hey, I have a question. It's for everybody, but I want to ask you guys first. Are you enjoying your summer so far? Yeah? Are we out of school? Yeah? Some of us are, some of us aren't. And are you doing anything different during the summer that you don't normally do? An example would be like my family, believe it or not, is going to go see the Czech Museum and Temple on Tuesday. So, are you guys doing anything different? Are you doing anything special? Are you swimming? Yeah, swimming, that's fun in the summertime. What else? Anything else? Do you get to do other things? Are you traveling? Do you get to see people you don't normally see? Yeah, just doing different things, right? You went in a cave? They went in a cave. Isn't that cool? What about you, Logan? You're going to go to your grandma's house. Yeah. So, did you really see the ocean? What'd you think of it? Was it big? Yeah, it was big, wasn't it? Yeah. Awesome. So, my other question would be, do you think that in the summertime when you're doing different things and you get to do different things, that maybe you might discover new things? Maybe things you've never done or seen before, like an ocean or a cave? Yeah, all these new things like swimming for the first time, maybe going for a hike. It's really hot to hike. I don't know what. To me, summer in Texas is like a blizzard anywhere else. You stay inside. So, the unicorn, you hiked. Awesome. Did you see cool things? Did you see? Yeah, there's like rocks and there's different plants, and maybe if you're lucky, like, oh, I saw a bunny rabbit this morning. What about you, Logan? Oh, a mountain lion. So my question is, how do you remember these things? Like, do you take pictures of them? Do you write about them? All sorts of things like that. What would you do if there was no social media and no smartphones with cameras? I wonder how you would remember things. Draw pictures, and maybe write things and draw pictures. Is that what you think, Emerson? Yeah? Cool. So, do any of you and any of the kids, do you journal? Do you have a journal or a diary? Do you? What kind of things do you put in your journal or your diary? Do you draw pictures? Do you write words? Sometimes. You don't have to. Sometimes we just write symbols and they mean something to us. They don't have to be words, right? So today in the sermon, we're going to be learning about this really smart and awesome woman named Katharine. And Katharine was very, very observant, and she was traveling, and she loved to journal. And she always kept a journal because 100 years ago or more, they didn't have smartphones, and they didn't have TikTok or social media or anything. She had her book. She had her journal. And as she was traveling across the United States on a train, she would write her observations in a journal. And from her observations from the top of a mountain of purple majesty, looking out over the country, she had this vision of how beautiful America is. And she called it, the beautiful America, America the Beautiful. And she wrote a poem that became a national song that we sing today. So she wrote it in her journal, and eventually it became a song that we all know that we will all be singing today. So I really hope that this summer you try new things and you go on adventures, even if they're in your backyard, and that maybe you'll draw a picture or you'll write some words and you'll have this with you. And there is a journal for all of you. Would you like a journal? I'm going to give it to Mom. You guys can grab a journal and grab some crayons, and I want you to use it this summer to write down or draw pictures of all the cool things that you see and experience. Cool. And with that, our story is told for today, and we're going to learn all about the poem through the sermon. Here you go, buddy. Everybody got... Oh, come on, Katharine. Yeah.
How cool.
There you go. All right, we can all go back to our seats. Thank you for helping me with the story.
Thank you, Chris.
Are you ready? Yay.
Good morning. It's really an honor to be here and to be asked to deliver this sermon to my new congregation here at Live Oak. This sermon revolves around someone who I consider a she-ro, Katharine Lee Bate. It's the amazing story of her beloved poem, America the Beautiful, and the legacy that she has left us for America. This sermon was developed in collaboration with credentialed religious educator Patty Withers at the Thoreau congregation. Portions are excerpted from several sources, notably a lovely book by ABC News correspondent Lynn Scher. This is the story of the American dream, true patriotism, and the right to question and criticize the status quo. Chronologically, the tune came first. One lovely summer day in 1882, Samuel Ward, a New Jersey businessman, church organist, and composer, and his best friend Harry took a steamboat ride to Coney Island for the day. On the way back, Samuel turned to his friend and said, "A tune has just come to me. If I had something to write on, I could put it down." He didn't carry a journal. Harry dug in his pockets. He fumbled through his coat and his trousers, searching for some paper. Finding none, he took off his starched linen cuff and gave it to Samuel. Samuel leaned on the rail of the boat, drew a Stephen Claff, and wrote the melody that we now know as America the Beautiful. Samuel named the tune Materna, setting it to the words of a popular hymn, O Mother, Dear Jerusalem. Within a few years, the combination appeared in several hymnals. The words began their journey a decade after that trip to Coney Island. Language and poetry came naturally to Katharine Lee Bate. She wrote daily in her notebook, a diary, papers, and lots of letters to friends. Growing up in Falmouth, Massachusetts, she was the youngest daughter of a congregational minister. He died when she was less than a month old. His last official act was to baptize Katharine. Her brothers worked to support the family. Despite these hardships, Bates attended Wellesley, received her BA in English, and started teaching. She supplemented her modest teacher's income by publishing her poems. A college graduate at the time when few men even finished high school, Katharine spent 40 years as a professor, becoming head of the English department at her alma mater. In the summer of 1893, Katharine spent 3 weeks as a visiting professor at Colorado College in Colorado Springs. She was thrilled with the chance to travel and see the United States by train. Niagara Falls was the first major stop. Katharine wrote in her diary about the glory and music of Niagara Falls. The next stop was the Chicago Exposition and World's Fair, with its amazing exhibits, electricity and steam engines, inventions such as the zipper, Cracker Jacks, and the Ferris wheel. Displays included a Statue of Liberty made out of salt and a Liberty Bell constructed totally out of oranges. Beyond all this glitz, the centerpiece was a gleaming white city. 14 buildings painted bright white to look like marble. Katharine called it a thing of beauty. Upon leaving Chicago, Katharine spent the 4th of July traveling across Kansas by train, viewing field after field of wheat moving in the wind. She pledged in her diary to become a better American for such a 4th. After settling in at Colorado Springs, Katharine later wrote in her diary, quote, "One day, some of the other teachers and I decided to go on a trip to 14,000-foot Pike's Peak. We hired a prairie wagon. Near the top, we had to leave the wagon and go the rest of the way on mules. I was very tired, but when I saw that view, I felt great joy. All the wonder of America seemed displayed there. It was as if I was looking out over the sea-like expanse of fertile country spreading away so far under those ample skies." Once back at the hotel, Katharine opened what she called her scrubby little notebook and jotted down words that came to her at the summit. "Oh, beautiful for halcyon skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the enameled plain." Whenever she told this story, she said the opening lines of the hymn floated into my mind. There was always a sense of the mystical, as if she were merely holding the pen and the words flowed right through her onto the paper. Bates's poem is in the form of her prayer for a better America. Each stanza opens with gratitude for the natural beauty of America. In the second half of each verse, she includes a petition to God, followed by a very specific challenge to make our country better. Our nation still works on many of those challenges today. As we sing the song verse by verse, listen for this structure. The first stanza reflects the bounty of America seen on her trip to Colorado. I invite you to sing along as you remain seated. Most of America does not know that one of their most beloved patriotic songs was written by a woman who was a feminist, a Christian socialist, an ardent anti-imperialist, and who lived in a loving relationship with a female companion for most of her adult life. While we can't claim her as a Unitarian or a Universalist, her values were consistent with ours. Bates was not a member of any church and rebelled against religious dogma. She refused to sign what she called an intolerable Christian oath at Wellesley. For this, many considered Bates a secular humanist, but her writings ring of a clear, deep faith in her God. By all accounts, Bates was a witty and inspirational professor and a curious scholar. Her lifelong companion, Katharine Coleman, the founder of the economics department at Wellesley, was a socialist and an author of several scholarly articles and books. They were known as the Professors Katharine. They were suffragettes, advocates for social justice, and worked for many charitable and progressive causes. Katharine Lee Bates was a patriot in the true sense of the word. She loved America, and she fought to make it a better and more just place. In his book, The American Creed, UU Reverend Forest Church explores the tension between our fundamental right to freedom and our faith in equality, describing it as a battle for the nation's soul. Katharine Lee Bates explores this same conflict in her poem. She asks for God's grace to heal our country. David Works, who is a descendant of Thomas Jefferson, wrote, "Once we realize that we're all human beings, including Thomas Jefferson, we can admit that we made mistakes and be willing to give others a break for their mistakes. That's what we call grace." Bates's middle verses are often omitted. In them, she explores the injustices of colonialism and capitalism. The verses describe both her love of country and criticism of the status quo. The United States was marked by a sense of manifest destiny before Katharine was born. Frontiers were explored, the wilderness exploited, and indigenous people relocated or worse. But with the transition from a rural to a more industrial society, in 1880, the Census Bureau announced the closing of the American frontier. As Bates contemplated her country's destiny, the robber barons had emerged as a political and economic force. The American labor movement was still reeling after the Haymarket events in 1886. The massacre at Wounded Knee had crushed the Native American resistance, and the Ku Klux Klan ruled the states of the former Confederacy. In 1896, the Supreme Court issued its separate but equal doctrine, giving its stamp of approval to Jim Crow for another 60 years. And there was a growing demand from elite circles for America to extend its empire. It was against this background that Bates wrote of her love of country and her unease with the greed and the exploitation of capitalism. Bates alludes to the fact that America exists because of our flawed roots, our history of genocide and land seizure. At the 2012 UUGA in Phoenix, America the Beautiful was chosen as a hymn to complement a sermon on immigration. Some of the attendees were pained by the historical references in the second verse, the context of which was not properly shared before the singing. While the hymn has been usurped by conservatives who know little about Bates and her work, Bates was not glorifying our history. She was indeed sharing a more cautionary reflection. Like Forest Church, Bates considers the soul of America. The second stanza covers the grand sweep of U.S. history, from the flaws of the Pilgrims to the exploration of our frontiers. I invite you to reflect carefully on the words as we sing the second verse. Passed before Katharine submitted her poem for publication in the Congregationalist. The introduction read, "Miss Bates's poem has the true patriotic ring, pertinent for the 4th of July." It was immediately noticed by a large and responsive audience. People began setting it to music, all kinds of music. When she realized that people wanted to sing it, Katharine decided to publish a more musical version in 1904 and changed some of the words. She continued tweaking the poem until 1911, when she published the final version, officially titled American the Beautiful. Katharine and her family fondly came to call it A the B. And so we come to the third element of our story, Clarence Barber, a Baptist minister in Rochester, New York, who brought the tune and the words together. He read her poem and immediately felt the words should be used as a hymn. They seemed to me to have a beauty and a message. Enlisting the help of his musician wife, they began looking in hymnals to find a tune to fit the poem's meter. I'm now going to share a short lesson on hymns. Commonly, the word hymn refers to the words, and the music is called the hymn tune. So if you want to, turn to page 664 in the gray hymnal, and you'll see the heading, it's all the way in the back. You'll see the heading, Metrical Index of Tunes. The metrical index is included in hymnals to provide an easy way for new hymns to be matched with familiar hymn tunes. Looking down the page, you'll see CMD, 8686D, or common meter double. This is the meter of A the B. Forest Green, one of the hymn tunes with common meter double, is used for 4 different hymns in our hymnal, and you could actually sing A the B to it. In fact, you can sing America the Beautiful to Auld Lang Syne, but it would have a completely different feel, like you're in a pub with a bunch of friends. So back to Reverend and Mrs. Barber. After looking at many hymnals and trying the hymn with different CMD tunes, they hit on Materna. The choir sang the new treatment the following Sunday. An elementary school principal liked it so much that he included it in a school assembly, and its popularity quickly spread within and beyond Rochester. First published together in 1910, our prophetic hymn came into being. While there was also a contest to choose an original tune for A the B, nothing ever matched the musical power of Materna. As composer Marvin Hamlish has explained, the sweet, simple introduction of each verse leads to an emotional climb up into the refrain with the Americas. Bates took a total hands-off to whatever music was played with her work. She never endorsed one tune after or the other, but she did insist that her published words never be altered. Katharine herself reflected some years after she published the poem, quote, that the hymn has gained such a hold as it has upon our people is clearly because Americans are at heart idealists with a fundamental faith in human brotherhood. Just what did Katharine Lee Bates have in mind when she wrote of brotherhood? Certainly not the good old boys club. As the professors Katharine spent their lives at a women's institution ensuring that women had the intellectual skills to make a difference in a man's world. Some have claimed that her brotherhood rings of socialism, but that definition is not quite correct. I believe that Katharine had something much grander and yet quite intimate in mind when she wrote of brotherhood. It was the spirit of community while growing up in her seaside home of Falmouth, Massachusetts. It was the collegial atmosphere of Wellesley. It was working with others for economic justice. A century later, students at Wellesley still sing America the Beautiful at their graduation, substituting the word sisterhood. But Katharine Lee Bates' poetic brotherhood spans genders. Today we might use a gender-neutral word like kinship. It's the spirit of mutual respect when people live, work, and care together in beloved community. Bates's poem was written at a difficult time. America was one of the wealthiest nations in the world, yet was undergoing a severe depression. Written during the age when capitalists tapped the nation's vast resources to generate unprecedented wealth, she encouraged them to use their gold for noble causes. Bates presents the contrast between America's guiding myth and our historical reality, and she concludes that America is more than just beautiful scenery, it also represents an ideal. Bates's patriotism and moral leadership are needed today as much as they were in the Gilded Age. Borrowing from Don Henley's lyrics, those beautiful skies are still threatening. Just one look at the news and you'll see struggles like she witnessed the summer she wrote America the Beautiful. And the shocking news of this week's Supreme Court ruling again reminds us that like separate but equal, the Supreme Court does not always get it right. The battle for the soul of America is ongoing and very real. So I got to thinking, how would Katharine Lee Bates manifest brotherhood and kinship today? I asked some people here at Live Oak UU about their work in community. Maybe he would be involved in community efforts to register voters and encourage civic engagement among students. Maybe she would be an ESL teacher, empowering immigrants as they transition to life in a new home. Maybe they would be a political activist, showing up to fight for trans youth and reproductive rights. Maybe they would be volunteers, helping local families access fresh food. Maybe they would be witnesses, speaking out for our basic freedoms and human dignity at city council and school board meetings. In 1911, Bates changed the focus of the third stanza from the glory of war to the bravery of heroes, the spirit of brotherhood. I invite you now to sing the third verse, which was made popular in the Ray Charles version of America the Beautiful. Many people wrote to Bates with suggested changes to the lyrics. One of the most common was to add a fifth verse addressing global ideals. Bates herself was a supporter of the League of Nations, now called the UN, and was sympathetic to the idea of world brotherhood. But she said the poem was written for one special thing and remained firm that the hymn was complete and final as she published it in 1911. She did, however, make this suggestion. When you sing, think of from sea to shining sea as applying from the Pacific to the Atlantic the other way around. And that will include all the nations and all the people. How progressive is that? As lifelong social activists, the professors Katharine knew that behind the progress celebrated at this gleaming white city, which was segregated, another city was crowded with hunger and poverty. In a letter to friends, also from that same trip, she wrote, countries such as, quote, countries such as England failed because while they have been great, they have not been good. Unless we are willing to crown our greatness with goodness and our bounty with brotherhood, our beloved America may go the same way. In a 2018 New York Times op-ed titled Fall of the American Empire, Paul Krugman also explored this theme of goodness. Quote, but there's also a larger context, and it's not just about Donald Trump. What we're witnessing is a systematic rejection of long-standing American values, the values that actually made America great. Our role in the world was always about more than money and guns. It was about ideals. America stood for something larger, for freedom, human rights, and the rule of law. And this belief that there was a core of decency, maybe even goodness, to America was eventually vindicated by the rise and success, incomplete as it was, of the civil rights movement. But what does America goodness have to do with American power, let alone world trade? The answer is that for 70 years, American goodness and American greatness went hand in hand, end quote. Looking back, A the Bee was written about halfway through our history. Despite our flaws, her poem is optimistic about our future. Perhaps because of this optimism, it served our nation during times of trial. Stories tell of soldiers singing it at the end of World War I. The hymn has been sung at Armistice, now Veterans Day ceremonies since then. Her song was sung after the bombing of Pearl Harbor and the assassination of a young president. The song again reached iconic status after 9/11, often sung along with God Bless America at ballparks during the seventh inning stretch. After 9/11, this spirit of patriotism spread throughout the country, and I felt uncomfortable with the whole thing. I was especially uncomfortable with the thought of God Bless America. If there is a God, do they even care about national boundaries? But I still sing God Bless America, especially when I'm at the ballpark, because like brotherhood, my concepts of God and America are broad and inclusive. After the horrific events of September 11th, newscaster Dan Rather came to tears on the David Letterman show as he reflected, quote, who can sing now with the same meaning we had before? The one stanza that goes, thine alabaster cities gleam, undimmed by human tears. We can never sing that song again that way, end quote. While so-called patriots will sing the first verse with gusto, they are often unaware of the story that I've just shared with you here today. One Super Bowl, Coca-Cola showed an ad with A the Bee sung in multiple languages. Despite the controversies that arose, Coca-Cola has shown that ad on multiple occasions. Last year, singer Cecile McLaurin-Salvant performed A the Bee at the US Open. She mashed up the second refrain with the first stanza. Afterwards, jazz critic Nate Chinen wrote, quote, what does it mean for a singer such as Salvant to inhabit a platform like the US Open and implore God to mend America's every flaw? What does it mean in the year of our Lord 2023 for a singer like Salvant to urge the nation to confirm thy soul in self-control and find liberty in law. I'm not going to spell it out, but it means a lot, end quote. Salvant ended her treatment with the refrain asking for grace. While Katharine witnessed the birth of radio and the exploration of Antarctica, she probably could not imagine events like landing on the moon, 9/11, same-sex marriage, and many other things that had happened since she died in 1929. However, thanks to the inspired magic of words and music, her legacy lives on. Like her life's work and ideals, Katharine Lee Bate's hymn rings true today as it did a century ago. The hymn asks three things for America: grace, goodness, and brotherhood. May our nation, and we here today, always strive up to live to those ideals. And that is how we can make America beautiful again. Today for our meditation, I'd like to ask a number of you, I've given you placards, to come up here to the front and form a visual timeline. It goes from 1619 to 2021. You'll have to find your place in the line. I'll tell you, halfway is the turn of the century. Into the 20th century. Oh, it's long. Okay.
These are ascending numbers, by the way.
Okay. Okay, we got it.
Okay, we got that Civil War.
Okay, so, oh, we're double checking here. I think the 20th century was more self-organized.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So journalist Lynn Scher writes in her book, "In America the Beautiful, Bates is not suggesting that human tears won't be shed, but that the awful obstacles we face should not derail our dreams for the future. It's the powerful ideal of a country with a mission to carry out the promise of its founders." The fourth stanza remembers our nation past, both the dreams and the tears. As we reflect, let us join in singing the last verse of America the Beautiful. Mike. Let us hold that moment together in sacred stillness. That's loud. Thank you. You may return to your seats.
This community is a chosen village where our lives are interconnected. Part of this tapestry of this communal journey is sharing the significant milestones, joys, and sorrows in our lives, and witnessing the diversity we hold. One of us may be celebrating a life event, while another is mourning a grief. And there is a beauty in that mosaic as we are reminded that the moments of life are transient and ever-changing. Today, Mark shows a concern, has shared a concern. My daughter's been laid off and is in a panic over finding a job that will support her and her 2 teenage children. Bill Dower is grateful for the generous and talented musicians who give their time and talent to support the service. The McCulloughs. In addition to cucumbers, there are fresh tomatoes in the fellowship hall. We don't want to take them home with us. So help yourself to tomatoes. May this community draw closer with our shared experiences as we celebrate life's triumphs and navigate its trials together. Please join in singing hymn number 1031, Filled with Loving Kindness.
May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be peaceful and at ease. May we be whole.
Our benediction today are words from Eisenhower's 1961 farewell address. May we be ever unswerving in devotion to principle, confident but humble with power, diligent in pursuit of the nation's great goals. I once more give expression to America's prayerful and continuing inspiration. We pray that in the goodness of time, people of all faiths, all races, all nations will come together to live together in a peace guaranteed by the binding force of mutual respect and love. May it be so.
I just want to say what a beautiful service. Thank you so much for sharing. I would like to invite you to our Faith Development Hour today. Today we have UU Summer Camp. Woo woo. Yes, thank you. And today we're doing show and tell. And we are going to be showing and telling something that means love to us. So even if you didn't bring something and you're like, oh, I'd like to join in, you can describe it or tell us about it, or maybe in this day and age, you might have it on your phone. Unlike our poetrist. So I'd like to invite you to join us in the Common Ground Room building as soon as the service is over. We also have in the sanctuary, the fellowship hall, our tabletop discussions with 4 wonderful questions to help you delve deeper into the meaning of the service today. And I hope that you'll engage in conversation with others. And there's things to keep your hands busy while you do so. At 1 o'clock today in room 105, if you signed up to be part of the Faith Development Focus Group, We will be meeting from 1 to 3 in room 105. If you did not sign up for it and you would like to be part of the revisioning of faith development, you are more than welcome. Grab some lunch and come hang out with us. Thank you.
Please join me in extinguishing our chalice with these words by Unitarian Universalist Wayne Arneson. Take courage, friends. The way is often hard. The path is never clear. And the stakes are very high. Take courage. For deep down, there is another truth. You are not alone.
Before we sing our last hymn, I want to recognize that the song that I chose uses gendered language. Because Bates did identify as a woman and sought to increase the rights and influence of women in the world, I'm comfortable with singing the first verse today. And I recognize that some of you may not be comfortable joining in the first verse. But verses 3 and 4, on the other hand, use neutral language.
Please rise for 1026. If every woman in the world, verses 1, 3, and 4.
Had a mindset on freedom. Every woman in the world dreamed a sweet dream of peace. If every woman, every nation, young and old, each generation, held her hands out in the name of love, there would be no more. If every leader in the world shared a vision of freedom, if every leader in the world shared a sweet dream of peace, if every leader, every nation works for justice and liberation, holding hands out in the name of love, there would be no more war. If every nation in the world set a true course for freedom, if every nation is children in the culture of peace, all our sons and all our daughters reached in friendship across the waters, refusing to be enemies, there would be no more war.
It has been a gift to be together today. Please spend the next 5 minutes talking with someone you don't know. Members, be sure to introduce yourself to any first-time visitors we have. You'll know them by the handwritten badges or the paper badges on their chest. They're the ones, and show them where the visitors table and the coffee are located. And may we all know the blessings of friendship.
I know you're supposed to be talking, but we really need your help. This is done like a call-in response. I would like you guys to do a response with an enthusiastic, "That's a lie," at the end of each chorus. You will eat by and by in that glorious land above the sky.
Way up high.
Look and pray.
Work and pray.
Live on hay.
Live on hay.
You'll get pie in the sky when you die.
But that's a lie.
TV preachers come on every night, try to tell you what's wrong and what's right. But when asked about something to eat, they will answer with voices so sweet. You will eat by
Copeland, Graham, and Osteen are so wealthy it just seems obscene. Give your money to Jesus, they say. Then they buy a jet with your cash and fly away. What the heck?
But you